I am the director of the EMF program at Environmental Health Sciences, a national nonprofit working on plastics, pesticides, air pollution, EMFs, and other environmental health exposures. Data centers are a public health issue because they bring together nearly every type of pollution, affecting communities for miles, not just through the air, land, light, noise, water, and heat island effects of the facilities themselves, but also through unchecked life cycle impacts. Data centers are driving up PFAS, forever chemical pollution. Thousands of drinking water wells in North Carolina have already been contaminated with PFAS linked to semiconductor manufacturing, as have streams in our county recently. PFAS also is used in data center cooling and fire suppression systems. Speed should not come before safety. But there's yet another critical issue, and that's EMFs. The voracious energy demands of data centers require unprecedented build-out of new electrical substations and high-voltage power lines, increasing EMF exposure to nearby homes and schools. This is an EMF meter. Last month, I measured the EMF levels near the San Francisco 49ers practice field, which is next to a substation. The team had said it hired a yet unnamed expert who concluded that EMF levels were 400 times below the safe zone and that the issue was a nothing burger. But the EMF measurements were never publicly released. That's trust us, we're the experts. Now, I recorded EMF levels at the playing field fence line above 10 milligauss, including up to 17 near the adjacent youth soccer fields. These levels are well above the 3 and 4 milligauss levels repeatedly associated with childhood leukemia in numerous research studies, well above the levels linked to Alzheimer's and miscarriage, well above the levels that several countries use as their limit for homes and schools. Dr. David Carpenter, director of the Institute for Health and the Environment at the University of Albany, published a review of the peer-reviewed science on power line EMF, and he concluded that industry-funded studies more often found no effects, whereas independent studies more often reported effects. And he concluded that there is, quote, strong evidence linking EMF exposure to cancers beyond leukemia, particularly brain and breast cancer. Dr. Henry Lai's latest analysis found that the majority of peer-reviewed research over the last 4 decades has reported effects, 90% for oxidative stress, 84% for genetic effects, and 92% for neurological effects. Yet the U.S. does not have any federal safety limits for the EMFs emitted by substations and AI-driven transmission lines, none. Now, in the 1990s, EPA's work to develop health protective standards for power line EMFs as well as cell tower radiation was defunded and never completed. But industry-tied groups do set limits. They set limits between 2,000 and 9,200 milligauss. Yet 3 to 4 milligauss is the level repeatedly associated with childhood leukemia. Industry limits are not designed to protect against the effects of short-term exposure, just nerve stimulation. They are not for long-term effects. Why? Because as the tobacco and asbestos industries did for years, they claim cancer causation is not established. Then they cite expert panels, which in many cases were stacked with industry-funded scientists relying on industry-funded research. Hundreds of scientists say that public exposure should be reduced, not increased. You can see the EMF scientist appeals for that. EMF safety is a house of cards. It's a fairy tale. And there's more. A Bloomberg analysis of over 770,000 residential sensors found degraded power quality from harmonic distortion within 20 miles of up to 50 miles of data center clusters. Now, that also creates electrical pollution in the home. Before any data center is approved, the public deserves transparency, mitigation for EMF levels, harmonics, air pollution, PFAS, wastewater contaminants, tonal noise, infrasound, light, and e-waste. Until such regulatory safeguards and oversight are in place, a 2-year moratorium is the only defensible course of action. Thank you.